us is a teacher whose love and dedication to physics has made him an international web star. On any given day, he can be found in his classroom at MIT, demonstrating the beauty of science. Take a look.
You count.
Wow, my expectations are high.
I want to hear you loud.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
And here is the femur of an elephant.
2, 1, 0.
And he's here today to share with us his incredible story. Please welcome Professor Walter Lewin to the show. Now, what kind of contraption is that?
Hello, Martha.
How are you, Professor Lewin?
Don't I get a hug?
Yes, of course you get a hug. Oh, yes.
What can
Yes,
I do for you?
indeed. Well, I want to know why you're riding that kind of bike with that big tank on the back.
Because I thought it would be a great idea to have you ride that bike. It is a rocket bike.
Oh, yes?
There is, it's fueled by carbon dioxide. It's a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and
And so if you sit on there, and if you're careful, and if you open the
I was
valve...
told you were going to ride it.
Well, I will show you how you ride it.
Okay.
And then you will actually ride it.
Okay, good.
If we have enough fuel left.
Okay.
If you're lucky, we don't have enough fuel left.
Okay.
So you don't have to ride it.
Well, it looks very interesting. And that's just to really show a scientific reaction.
It's a scientific,
right?
one of the basic laws by Newton. Newton has 4 major laws.
Which are?
And his 3rd law is the one I'm going to demonstrate with this bicycle.
So I didn't know there were 4. I only knew about 3.
Yes, but you overlook his general equation of gravity, which in general is not counted as 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
So you're good. You're good in physics, I must say. You know.
Oh, I've been working on a physics book.
You almost passed the course
I
already.
am. I really am working on a physics book.
So you have Newton's law 1, Newton's
Yeah.
2nd law, Newton's 3rd law, and that's when we stop. But there really is the general equation of gravity.
Oh,
That is his general.
Okay.
I call that number 4.
Okay, good. That's interesting. So did you ever imagine that this would happen?
That I would be sitting next to you here?
Well, yeah, because you have not appeared on TV shows that I've known about.
Well, that's what you think.
But you've appeared on iTunes, you've appeared on YouTube, on Google. He's the most watched video on all of these things. I mean, how many thousands of views? Millions?
A few million.
A few million views. His teaching principles. That's all very, very interesting. Oh, yes, look. There he is on the MIT Open course. So that's then they pick it up on Google or on YouTube.
Exactly.
And you've been teaching at MIT for 41 years. I love MIT. If I could go back to school, Dr. Lewin, I would go to. Do I call you Dr. Lewin or Professor Lewin?
I think you should call me Walter.
Okay, Walter. If I went back to school, I would be going to MIT. I don't know.
How good.
I would just like to.
What makes you think that we will accept you?
Well, I have no idea. But if I had it to do over again, I would try to go to the media lab at least.
I think you have a good chance to succeed.
And as a teacher, as a professor, what's been your biggest reward? Your most?
Well, the biggest reward is to see every day, every morning when I wake up, I see mail coming in from all over the world, from people who love my lectures, and whose life I have changed because of my lectures. That's an incredible reward.
It is.
Some of those messages are so warm, so moving. They sometimes make me almost cry.
Really? And do they come via email or letter?
They come by email.
Email.
Occasionally a letter, but in general email.
Email. And do you read them all?
About 5,000 a year. I read them all and I answer them all.
He even got, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You even got 2 wedding proposals, I heard.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And we all want to know
Well, listen,
the gossip.
I'm always willing to listen to a proposal. I'm a bachelor, so why not?
Have you always been a bachelor?
I'm
Have you
a
ever been
bachelor.
married?
I've been married,
Oh,
but
you
I'm
have.
now a bachelor.
Oh, you're a bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're interested?
No, you never can tell.
Okay.
I'm a divorcee.
I was just
See,
wondering.
we call ourselves divorcees
I was
in
just
New York. In
wondering.
Boston, they call them bachelors. You don't go back to being a
So
bachelorette.
one of those invitations, of those proposals, came from California, and the other one came from Florida.
And they didn't want to move to MIT?
Well, maybe they did, but you see, to start dating someone at long distance is not a very good idea.
Yeah, it's very hard.
So don't be discouraged, but if you live anywhere in the Cambridge area, drop me a note.
I wanted to tell you about this book. You must know it. Do you know Dr. Simone's History of Physics? He wrote it in Hungarian. It's a big textbook, and then it was translated into German, and now it's being translated into English. So I was editing it, and it's really fun.
So you know a lot of physics.
No, I don't. I'm learning. I'm learning from this textbook.
But
It's
translating
really.
it, that's an
I'm not
amazing
translating
thing.
it. I'm only editing the English translation. But I am learning a lot about physics. That's why I only knew 3 laws of Newton. But now I'm going to look back and make sure there's 4.
Well, the fourth one is the general
Okay,
law of
we're just
gravity.
checking. And our audience is filled. Everyone you see is a teacher.
Yeah, and there are
or
so many
one
women,
student.
I noticed. That's actually...
Yes, lots of women.
Lots of
and
women, more women than men.
what kind of advice can you offer to these teachers?
Oh, it's very difficult to have any advice for people who work in such a totally different area that I do. All I can tell you is what works for me.
Yes.
And if some of that works for you, well, so much the better. Number one, a lecture must be inspiring. You must give an interesting lecture. You must show your love. You must show your enthusiasm. You should boil over of enthusiasm. It should be contagious. And students should see that physics is beautiful and that physics is fun. When possible, you should try to make a connection between what you teach and the real world. So, for instance, give a lecture on musical instruments and ask them to bring their musical instrument in and play those instruments with them. That's the fun part. If you reach in the course a milestone somewhere, celebrate that milestone with them. I do that by handing out flowers. I hand out daffodils. And I remember that students talk to me sometimes a quarter century later, and they may have forgotten everything about physics. They know nothing anymore, but they remember the daffodils.
That's why I want you to finish your list, but I also want to find out about this fried egg that he has, a fried egg pin. What's that for?
Well, you see, it's better to have a pin on your shirt than on your face, so that's why I put it here.
We'll be back with more from Professor Lewin and his experiments, but first, what is a teacher show without a pop quiz? Teachers, get your pencils ready. One of you will be going home with a big surprise. In order to get an A+ on this quiz, be sure to pay attention. We'll be collecting the answers shortly. Okay.
Still ahead, learn from a former Teacher of the Year what it really means to be part of this admirable profession. You don't want to miss it.